Entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Betty's Real Estate Corner, brought to you by Sakamoto Properties, where prestige is our business, reputation our foundation. Today in the studio is Dean Otto, and I probably can't tell you again everything that Dean has done.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I can, okay. Well, I'm going to get into that in just a minute, because today's Dean's story is a better story than ever. And I guess I better let you say a quick aloha. Hello.
Aloha. Thanks, Betty. Thanks for having me on the show. I know how jealous Mitch and Roy are right now, but
I think they are. I think they hate it. They hate it. But what I want to talk about is this weekend, Dean's son, Troy Otto, graduated from Maui Prep High School in one of the most fabulous ceremonies ever. But I really wanted to get Dean to talk with me a little bit about the graduation and everything at Maui Prep. And I'm thinking, Dean, you know, we should probably start a little bit with how it all began. You know, how somebody, you know, I mean, a number of people, and some people eventually ended up out of it, some back in. But when the school was, when people were talking that we needed a school, and we needed it for real estate, if nothing else. I mean, you know, there were people that wanted to come here. There were so many things, and one of the groups, I would start it this way, and then you can, because he's the president of the
Board of Trustees.
The Board of Trustees, sorry. He has really been buried in it all, and in addition, probably the most successful real estate agent on Maui today. So I think he really has done so much. But when the school started, there were a number of people involved, and they came up with an idea if they could get some of the top West Maui Realtors together and come up with a plan that would facilitate fundraising in a way through real estate deals and commissions, that it would be a good kickoff. There were a lot of other people making large contributions, but starting there, Dean, you were one of the primary people. So fill us in a little bit.
Thanks, Betty. Let me first start by saying that I used to have my own identity, and now I'm known as Troy's dad.
I know, it's frightening, isn't it?
It's very frightening. And you're right, it was a fantastic weekend. We had a graduation on last Friday evening, and it was just a phenomenal event, and it was really enjoyable. Really loved every minute of it. It's a great success for a Friday night graduation this year. But you're right. Going back to the very beginning, you know, you talked about the group of realtors that got together, and we formed an alliance called AIM, which was the Alliance to Improve Maui. And you know, it was a pretty big deal. We're very excited that we just recently, this last month, surpassed the $1 million goal that we originally set out as a fundraising effort for this group of 10 realtors. That, as Betty mentioned, some have come and gone, but you know, ultimately a group of realtors were very instrumental in the very beginning of the school. You know, as I say, it's a school that's now 8 years old, and a group of 10 realtors has raised over $1 million to support the school, so I think that's just an amazing feat in itself.
I have a quick question. Do I understand correctly that Troy's graduating class were the first graduating class that actually started in the very beginning? Because other classes started, you know, maybe as freshmen and they graduated, but his class started very young.
Correct. Actually, he started the second year of the school's existence. And, you know, the first year obviously was sort of a slow start. I mean, we started our first school year with 16 students. And, you know, obviously have, over the last 7-8 years have gone up to now 200 kids. So quite an amazing feat. He was here since the second year, has sort of grown up with the school and sort of followed the progress as they've gone along. But the school has done an amazing job for Troy, and, you know, he's just turned out to be just an exceptional student. He's an exceptional athlete. He's become a great musician. But more than anything, he has this just great maturity and confidence about him, and we feel real confident that we've raised a kid through the school that's going to be not only prepared for college, but prepared for life. And that's pretty exciting stuff.
Troy was valedictorian, but he also had, I believe, the top school average, which was over 3.8.
Yep, I think his GPA is a 3.98 or some crazy thing like that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty fantastic.
It is fantastic. I couldn't even count to 4 at that age.
Well, we might need to go back to the beginning for a bit, but you know, one other quick thing on this was, There's 16 graduating seniors this year. They had only one person was actually a professional paddleboard student who had left school and was already working and very successful as a stand-up paddleboard. And he came back to school so that he could graduate with his class, which I think was really a huge thing. But all of the other kids, 100%, are going on to college.
That's
So again, I think there's some huge statistics for the school. I know it's not for everybody, and over the years we've talked about how we've been real involved with Lahaina, who this year, of their graduating class, which I think is about 225, they had 50% of their kids going on to college, which is probably good. I mean, it's probably great I don't really know all the statistics and how it works, but for this school that this group started and Dean has been president of, et cetera, to have 100% of these kids go to college, pretty amazing feat.
It is pretty amazing, and I think that's been the case for every year so far. I think we've had one kid so far that has not gone on to college, but I think ultimately our goal is not to just get our kids into college. Our goal is to get them to graduate from college as entrepreneurs, to come back to Maui and bring their skills back and make Maui a better place. So it's a pretty exciting time. School has come a long way. There's been tremendous challenges that we've had to deal with at the school. Obviously finances is a big part of any nonprofit and any big part of any school. We've been challenged like all other schools. We were a little bit unique in how we started the school. We sort of reverse engineered it, and so we started the school with 16 kids and $4 million in debt, since we went ahead and built the school before we knew the kids were coming. Obviously that presents a challenge, and we've been successful in being able to get to a break even on our budget with 200 kids. It took us 5 years to get to that point. Worked really hard to get to that point, which allowed us with the balanced budget to be able to refinance and get us to the point where we're at right now. So the first 6 years were startup years. We battled our way through. We're very successful in transitioning to where we are right now, which is at a great opportunity to look forward towards growth and sustainability. And we're working on right now big plans for the future.
It is an amazing school, and as Dean is saying that, when you go back to those early days that AIM was being formulated, the school was still kind of a dream, there was a big struggle of negative thinking, where people, it's never going to work, it's not going to happen, talked about it for years, oh yeah, we're going to have a bypass road too. So it really took a lot for people, in particular Dean, who was working really hard and was getting, a lot of people were coming down on him for the fact that this fundraising campaign, how was it ever going to work, where was the money going, etc. And I think it really has blown away some of those negative thinkers that it's happened. And
right.
It's as amazing as it is.
Right. It gives me great joy
I bet it
to
does.
be able to say hi to all those people
Gotcha.
that sort of doubted our resolve. And as I say, it's very exciting. It wasn't an easy proposition. We had, ended up with $5 million in debt with only being able to qualify for $3 million that proposed the challenge. But we were able to work our way through it. Central Pacific Bank was amazing in working with us to restructure and refinance, and we've been able to lay out a financial structure that allows us to progress, move forward, and not be bogged down just with debt. It does allow us some opportunity to grow as well, so that's really important for us as we look forward. We're looking at big plans right now. We're considering an elite boarding facility with a golf program and a tennis program, looking to bring in kids from throughout the state, throughout the country, throughout the world, that will come to Maui Prep, to not only study, but also to participate in some elite athletic programs as well too. So it's an exciting time. We're considering all options, but we also recognize that we're in a small community of about 35,000 people in West Maui, and that in order to get the critical mass that we need to be a very successful school, we do need to reach out and bring kids in from other islands. Lanai, Molokai, Oahu certainly is a possibility as well too, and kids from upcountry. you know, we're not able to get a lot of those kids who would like to come to the school over to West Maui to be a part of what we have there, which is very special.
You know, going back again to where we were talking about AIM, a very interesting tidbit about this original money, a client of ours came up with a line of credit that he was going to use, but he didn't want to put up his line of credit with the possibility of losing it. In this group of original realtors that were involved, let's call them the founding members, came up and signed to guarantee the loan. And I know Dean was one, we were one, and I got to admit, after we did it, I mean, oh my God, I mean, this is way beyond our capabilities. You know, it could have killed all of us.
I know, Betty thought we were crazy, and we probably were, but...
Yeah, but I had to do it, you were doing it, so...
There's just something about it, and the people that were involved in it, Tom Rosenquist, who unfortunately passed away too early, was instrumental in sort of dragging us along through this process, and I think we all had a lot of confidence in Tom, and that was a big part of why we did it. But
I've always thought Tom was the world's greatest salesman.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He convinced us to do the craziest things ever,
yes.
But you know, somehow we just knew it would work out, and Tom had the golden touch, and
he did.
We followed his path. But you know, the AIM program is something that I'm very proud of. You know, $1 million is a lot of money. Substantial amount of that, you know, money out of my pocket, which I would love to have back right now. But you know, obviously, it has been a very rewarding experience for me personally, with my son just graduating, and having been the president of the board for the last 2 years, and I'm going into my 3rd year. It's something that's really special. I mean, you know, I think real estate is my life, but this has become something very important to me, and sort of a legacy that I'm really enjoying being a part of right now.
You know, Dean, if somebody's listening to us right now that cares about education, and I'm sure that is everybody, but that would also be willing to make some sort of a contribution to Maui Prep, how do they do that? I mean, can they go to the website? Can they make a phone call?
That's a good question. There probably is something on the website, but I think the easiest thing to do is to call the office and ask for Kathy Minami. Kathy is our development director, and she can be reached at 665-9966.
Or call Dean Otto at 870-7736.
I think it's important to also note that you know, most people don't really understand why a group of realtors would get involved in starting a school, and I think it's important to understand as much fun as it's been for me and as rewarding as it's been for me. You know, originally, at least the pitch from Tom Rosenquist was that, you know, a new school in West Maui would do a great thing for the real estate market. And as you look at communities, schools and churches and hospitals are critical elements. I deal with people every day that would like to move to Maui, but the first thing that they check into is the school. And you know, so no one was moving to West Maui. I shouldn't say no one, but there was a large group of people that were reluctant to move to West Maui because they didn't feel like there was this sort of private independent school experience that they perhaps experienced on the mainland. And what's happened is it's really opened the door to a whole new group, a whole new segment of the market that is now a possibility for us to sell real estate to in West Maui. And I think you know, it's important, not only for personal reasons, but I think it's important for our economy to consider projects like this. Certainly a hospital in West Maui would be the next project that would really really complete the community in West Maui.
I think you're right. I think that the school was something that was necessary, and I think you're right that there's certain people that want to move to Maui, but they're in that private school arena, and that's what they want, and that's what they've got now. And I don't think we've had anybody come by and meet people there that haven't, you know, been really happy with it. Having said all of that, I also think that there's some great schools in West Maui that have worked for years. I think Lahaina High School, it's a great education, and it's something, memories that will never go away. I think there's some amazing kids that have gone there and have done extremely well. You know, doctors, lawyers, you know, everything. So I think, I don't want to ever feel like we're not saying Lahaina is also one of the greatest schools, maybe in the world, for a lot of different reasons. And there's some amazing kids there. But I think Dean is totally right. The people that we were trying to help at that time were people that wanted to come here, wanted to be part of this community. are people that contribute to all the causes. They bring businesses here, they hire people. So I think they have made themselves, and there's a great number of them, that have really made themselves an integral part of Maui, of Kapalua, of Kaanapali, of Lahaina. And I think those were the people that came here and brought their kids and are going to school, and we're hoping that some of these kids, which you said a little while ago, will come back to Maui and bring what they've learned in college, and I can see a lot of those kids going to graduate school over and over. It'll be pretty exciting.
It is an exciting time. And it's interesting to see, Sacred Heart, certainly a great school in West Maui
Good
as
school,
well.
that's right.
Goes up to 8th grade, and as Troy was going through these younger years with this group of kids that he grew up with here in West Maui, some separated to Maui Prep, some separated to Lahaina, and they're all graduated this year, of course, and it's been pretty amazing. Troy's Lahaina friends academically might even be slightly above what Troy's graduating with, so I think a lot of it depends on the kids, a lot of it depends on the parents, but Lahaina has certainly a great opportunity to deliver a very high quality education. We've seen it with some of Troy's friends for sure, who are going on to great colleges, qualified and SAT scores higher than Troy. So, there's certainly great opportunities out there. This happened to be a niche that we supported, and I think education is an interesting time for education. The world of education is changing, and as an independent school, we have the ability to adjust to the changes and not be sort of stuck in the rut of public school system, but we have the opportunity to customize our curriculum, and we have robotics programs, we have engineering programs. We can look at a class, look at the individual students, see where their interests are, and adjust our curriculum to sort of match the students, and that's a unique opportunity with the private school.
There's so many things that I've learned about the school in the last many years, but I suppose we're going to get stuck for time pretty soon. But it still is. I think the school has turned out to be something really amazing, and I couldn't be happier that we were able to be a part of it. And you were saying you're Troy's dad. Well, my daughter Julie Flynn, graduated from Lahaina in 1984 or 1982, and I will always be in Lahaina Ehu's mom.
Yep.
She was the only redhead in the school, so that she had quite a name. She was Ehu or Ehulani, but that'll never go away, and I will always value being Ehu's mom. So,
right.
Hey, Dean, I think you came up with a few statistics, and let me mention now, you can reach us at 808-669-0070. You can check out our website, which has everything in West Maui on it, at sakamotoproperties.com. You can find us on Twitter at Maui Sakamoto, or connect with us using the hashtag Betty Maui Radio. How about that?
I didn't even know Betty knew how to spell Twitter. Very impressive.
It's all about Meyer Computer. They've taught me how to spell Twitter, but that's about it.
Well, we have great websites. I encourage you to visit the websites. I think they really are impressive.
Look at Dean's website.
Look at my website too.
Fabulous. DeanAuto.com. Yeah, very, very nice.
Running out of time, Betty. Do you want to touch on a few of the
give us
markets?
some of your statistics.
Yeah, I think it's a great time. I think there's some really good information out there. The market is actually doing quite well. Sometimes it's hard to feel it, but if you look at statistics, our market is definitely trending in the right direction. It's a pretty exciting time, really. Probably the biggest change that we're seeing, I think we've been talking about this for the last few months, is the dramatic reduction in inventory. All of a sudden, there's not that many choices out there, and I can't imagine it changed as quickly as it did, but our inventory is low right now, and that is, that is a fast turnaround from where we were over the last few years. If you look at the days on market, you're going to see, and obviously days on market declining is a direct correlation with the reduction in the inventory, but right now, it's taking 104 days to sell a residential property on Maui. That's amazing. That includes a 60-day escrow. So right there, it's telling you that single-family homes are selling in about 60 days, or going under contract in about 60 days. That's unbelievable change from where we've come from too. So pretty impressive. The other really big change that I've seen is a very big decline in the number of REOs and short sales, which we're all very excited about. And the last 12 months, 29% of the residential sales were REO short sale, 16% of the condos and 16% of the land. Those percentages were up around 40 to 50 to 60% at the worst time in the market. So you can see this dramatic transformation occurring right now, Betty, and reduction in inventory, days on market declining, REOs declining, a lot of good stuff going on right now.
You know, for Hawaii, I noticed, I think these statistics came out of Honolulu, but I think that we mimic them pretty closely. But as of the end of 2012, sales of 1 million plus homes had increased by 14%, and prices had gone up close to 3%. Homes 2 million to 3 million had actually experienced a 61% increase in sales. Then when you got to 3 million to 5 million range, it was up only 21%. But that's saying, you know, that over a year, huge, you know, what has happened in Hawaii. And I think those statements mean the second home market is back. And we're finding now the Honolulu brokers, who are a lot of these people, are coming to us looking for inventory because their inventory is just about gone. So I think that is something. And then I looked at a thing here from around the country, Telluride, Chicago. I mean, all across the country, the second home and multi-million-dollar inventory is disappearing. So I think the same here, as Dean is saying, we're seeing our inventory get depleted. And I think one of our hardest markets is when we get over 3 million. But again, those people, someone that is in that range, can show up and buy in a flash.
Right, correct, exactly right. And then, you know, the Maui market, of course, is not made up of a whole bunch of over $3 million properties. But if you look at the Maui market, it's really interesting how I look at these every month as these statistics come out. But you know, really the last couple of months have been the first time that we've seen such positive information coming out as we compare this year against last year. So looking at the first 4 months of the year, if you look at just pricing alone, you know, single-family home sales are up by 12%, average sale price up to $783,000.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
That's a big number.
The median income is up 15% from $450,000 to $513,000. So there's been a little spike in activity. Look at condominiums, same thing. Pricing of condominiums is up 14% over last year. Land as well. Land has been very sluggish, but is also now starting to show some good signs of a turnaround. That really is important, because the land sales tend to be a good indicator of the market. You know, the land, when the market declined, land sales just shut off completely. And then now, as you see the market progressing, you'll see that pricing is up by 40%, number of sales is up 18%, and the volume of land sales in Maui for the first 4 months versus last year is up 65%. I mean, those are really pretty impressive numbers. Everything very positive. It's very rare, as I say, only the last 2 months we've really seen such positive information on all of those categories together. You know, before it was uptick in activity but decline in price. But this is really the first time that it's all positive, and I think that when you look at the information like how much inventory is currently on the market, that right now we're looking at 8 months of remaining inventory for homes and 6 months of remaining inventory for condos. In other words, if no other listings came on the market, we would be out of condominiums to sell in 6 months. To me, that means it's the time to buy. The next 6 months will be the ideal time to purchase in Maui.
Also, we are at the 1-minute warning, which means, I think if you take all of this into account, take all these different statistics, it is time to buy. It is time to buy on Maui. Call us at Sakamoto Properties, 808-669-0070. Check out our website, sakamotoproperties.com. Find us on Twitter at Maui Sakamoto. Connect with us using hashtag Betty Maui Radio. But again, 808-669-0070. And I think we're back to Danny Couch and I Love Hawaii. Aloha.
Aloha. Thanks for having me, Betty.
Thank you for being here, Dean. It was great.